Hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica and this is The Love Project. If you are new here, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell. Ring that bell. That bell. Ding a ding a ding. Welcome back. And if you have been watching and haven't fully committed, please do so by subscribing and ringing the bell. Today we have a good topic, y'all. So I came across this video. I will play the clip shortly, but I came across this video and I found it very interesting. I thought it would be a great topic to discuss and talk about from my experience and just as a woman, how I believe this do fits into our life. So I am going to go ahead and play the clip. We'll come back and we'll discuss. I hope you're ready. Let's go.
I met this man. He had all of those qualifications besides the fact that I was making more money than him. I wasn't that excited about that in the beginning. He had stability, he had all his own stuff, but he just wasn't at the highlight of his career. And I'm glad I didn't look him over. A lot of women would have looked him over because women think men got to come done. They got to have the Lambo already. They got to have the Rollies, like they got to have it already done. But I understood the assignment. I knew I was a helpmate.
Okay, so we are back, and based on the clip, the topic today is, do women want their man well done? Listen, we treat these men like steaks today here, so let's talk about it. With that concept and based on what the young lady shared, I want to kind of just walk through the idea of us treating men like steak, like we like our steak, right? So, of course, we know there is this form of rare steak. I don't know who like they steak like that, bloody and pink and you name it. So, in this thought process or this idea, a rare man will be one that is, honestly, to me, I would consider bum status, unless, now this is the exception to the rare type of man, right? You will meet him very young. So, for instance, if he's your high school sweetheart, y'all met, like I said, either in high school, even younger. I know people who've been dating since middle school, um, and or even college. In some instance, we do know men kind of develop later in life, so it could be as early as college. But this man, if he's not just totally a bum, that's a rare man. He don't got nothing in place for himself. He don't know who he is. He have no foundation for family, for his future. Again, the exception would be that you meet him really young, and therefore you are with him through those early stages as he's figuring out his life, as he's figuring out what he want to do when he get his first job and kind of start establishing those things for himself. After that, you will have medium rare, right? So medium rare is pretty much the same. There's is not a much of a difference between the men, so we not gonna really deal with that too much. So with that, we'll just move into the medium. The medium means that he work, but he haven't quite found himself, right? So he is still trying to figure out his calling, but he is working, he is making money, he is taking care of himself, right? So that's your medium man. You know, he's not no bum, he's not looking for a handout, but he don't have it together. And if you meet him, he can take a shift on you. He can pivot anyway. Literally, he might wake up one day and want to be an entrepreneur. He might wake up one day and want to be a rapper. Listen, because right now he is just in this place where right now he's just doing what he need to do to make ends meet, to pay his bills, to take care of himself. But he is not settled in who he is, or figured out what his calling and his passion is. So I would consider that more of a medium status man. From there, we have a medium well status man. A medium well status man would be, I would consider your 9 to 5 man. You're pretty much your average man at our age range, right? So I would say 27 or older. This man usually is, he works, he have a good idea in his identity, who he is. He already knows if he's gonna, work the rest of his life to provide for his family. He ain't trying to really branch out like that and go into something new. He have set a foundation for himself. So if he gonna work, he gonna work. He gonna retire. He gonna do what he need to do. He might have a few side hustles, get things done. If he's in entrepreneurship, he already venturing into that, whether or not he fully made the leap into that fully, but he already knows now that, okay, I'm working this 9 to 5, but this is my side hustle. This is something I would like to fall back on. This is something I would like to totally branch out to, full term, long term, right? So he just have established a life for himself. He has room for you because he understands the dynamic of, a woman bringing that extra layer to his life. So again, he's making things happen on his own, but he look forward to companionship, marriage, and just being in partnership with somebody. So that's what I would consider your medium well status man. I believe that's the man that most of us should be seeking, honestly, because again, this man doesn't need anything from us per se, because he is, already has the foundation, already establishing a life for himself, and he's doing okay for himself, in the same manner that we should be on the other side of that. And then when we come together with this man, you can then build and make a life together. So the medium well man is what I would consider to be the standard of man that most women, especially desiring marriage, should be looking for. And I believe that's the type of man that the young lady on the video explained. However, our mindset, unfortunately, is looking for this well done man, right? We're looking for this well done man, this man who is fully established, walking in his calling, walking in his purpose, already on his path. However, there are some very, very deep downsides to this type of man. One, I don't believe that men come into their full self without marriage, without the support of a woman. Literally, the Bible talks about how God Himself said that um, man shouldn't be alone. So obviously there was something that was needed, companionship. There was support that was needed. He then made us to be man's helpmeet. So there is some areas that we as women come in, step in, and take our men up to the next level. And I believe that the most successful men, and I believe this is statistic based, but the most successful men are married men. Why? Because they have that support, because they have someone else pushing them financially, pushing them motivational wise, whether it's just them looking at their family and being like, I gotta get it, I gotta make it happen. Whatever that case may be, the most successful man is married men. So when you find a well done man, the downside of that is these men are usually very rigid. They're very rigid in their ways. They're very rigid in their path of life, which is fair because they have already, found those things for themselves. But it's very hard to have a woman come into that because what they're then looking for is pretty much what we talked about last go round. They're looking for a woman who's going to submit, who's going to easily come under what they have already established, who's going to come in and sit under them in a way to help continue what they're already building, or almost just nurture and support that fully. They don't want a woman who have their own set of ideas, have their own goals, have their own plan and their own path. And honestly, that's fair enough because, listen, the Bible talk about being equally yoked. So the best way when we talking about marriage being equally yoked is not being side by side. It's being congruent. So it's being together, because that's what make marriage work. You have to become one. So I don't fault the well done man who is not looking for this boss chick, but more so looking for a woman who is more of a traditional woman in role in her femininity, in her femininity, that's going to come under his leadership. So whatever it is he need her to do, whether it's stay at home, whether it's work for his company, whether it's you know do his books and all of these type things, right? Whatever I need you to do, that is what you're available for. So that's the downside of having this well done man. And a lot of times I feel like we are looking for that in our mind. So the image of the man that we desire, the man we want to marry, the man that we're looking for, is this well done man. First of all, that is very, very rare. Um, and then on top of that, again, I don't see the benefits of that, because that man is not as flexible. So as a woman, you will have to, as women say, lose yourself to fall in line with that type of man. So my suggestion is the man that we often and sadly look over, and that is a man who is medium well in his status. The best part I would say about that particular type of man is the flexibility. This man has already established a foundation of security for himself, to be able to take care of himself, provide for himself, and most likely he already has in mind what those family dynamics look like, how many kids he want, how he's gonna and want to treat his wife, right? And I feel like, especially with the type of women we are today, most and all of us work. Most and all of us have, plans and ideas of what we want out our own life. So we're not coming fresh out of high school into marriage, where, we literally just following the path of our husbands anymore. So, we're getting married later in life. So we have things going on for ourselves. And I think to come in agreement with this medium well status type man is much easier, because he has that, okay, well, I've been working this place for 10 years. I plan on, I may retire here. I'm not really trying to move out of my career so much. So then we come in and say, okay, you've been doing this for 10 years. You have this type of experience. How can we move you, up in the world? I'm doing this over here. This is beneficial. When we put what we have together, we can really build something here. And I feel like that particular type of man is more open to, again, being that partnership, that I bring in over here, you bring in over here, and we make it happen together. So I would say, kind of think about that, whether, you're dating someone now, or just, looking for a potential mate. I think that's something to consider, when you think about the type of man that you want. So you can be realistic about your expectation, and also so that you can recognize the qualities that men bring to the table, and you won't miss out, because there are some good men out here. And I feel like, with social media, and we talk about this often, that we put up these images and these facades of what's real and what's fake, and what our expectation is, and it just don't measure up. It don't line up at all. So I think a big part of that is kind of figuring out what our role is as a woman. And listen, on this page, we're going to always get back to accountability. We're going to always get back to our job as a woman, to really participate in what God has for us, right? Fully and totally. And a big part of that is, how we see ourselves, right? And how we see our role. So as the young lady mentioned, she felt like she had what it took to be able to take her husband to the next level. I too feel and felt the same way, and I think that's a big part of our choosing. So I think we should always go back to one, us seeking God for ourselves, us understanding who we are and what we have to offer, and then being able to bring that to the table in our relationships. And I feel like that'll help us have a good picker when it comes to men, because if you know that you are a very organized person, if you know that you are, a motivational person, you're a nurturer, usually, when you touch something to put your hands to something, that thing gonna go to the next level, that thing gonna prosper, then you can easily see the potential of a man, see the foundation that a man has set, and already know how you're gonna help him take that to the next level, especially if he's open-minded, if he's ready for that, if he's desiring that, then it's so easy for you to then come in, because he is welcoming that, and he's welcoming your gifts, and y'all can work together and really take your family and your future to the next level. So, just taking the time and understanding who you are, and of course, always knowing God's original plan for you, for us as women, and for you as a person, right? So I think that is very important when kind of moving into and moving up in relationship. And I think a big thing to focus on too is not so much what you bring into the table, but how you set the table. Let's think about that, right? So, what you bring to the table is one thing, but how you set the table is another thing, right? So, we have a table, right? I can easily say potluck mindset. I'm bringing some green beans. I'm bringing some yams. If you know, you know. I'm bringing this and that to the table, right? But then there is a person who set the table. That is having a servant mindset, right? The one who set the table. This is the one who said, okay, we want to lay this way. We're going to have the glasses. We're going to have the dishes. We're going to have the napkins. We're going to lay it this way. We're going to have a real nice, let's put a centerpiece in the middle. Think about that. Like, I mean, I have things to bring to the table, but I'm a woman that set the table, because when I set the table, it's gonna set the tone, right? Of when my mate walk in, he gonna look and he gonna be like, okay, okay, whatever he bring to the table, I'm able to do so much with, because I am one that set the table. I have a heart to serve my husband. I have a heart to serve our family. I have a heart to serve the plan and the purpose that God have for our union. And I believe that truly is the role and the work of a woman. I believe that that's what God has had planned originally for us, when He made us to be the helpmeet, right? So I think that's a good example of something to think about. Not always focusing on what you bring to the table, because things have changed. As women, we should bring something to the table that is fair. Things have changed. Things have changed a lot, and so with that, we should bring to the table. But I feel like the original mindset was on setting the table, and I feel like if we get back to that as women, thinking about how we can set the table, it'll shift the generation, it'll shift the image of marriage, and it'll shift just our families and our future. So just something to think about. And of course, always being mindful that there is a difference between potential and pride. So when you meet a man, a lot of times us women, we get caught up on potential, and potential is not enough to see your future with a man, and potential is not enough to guarantee that this man can lead you, can provide for you, so on and so forth. However, if you look at pride, if a man has and operates in pride, that is not the type of man you want as a husband. Pride is a silent killer. It kills family. It definitely kills women, because when men are operating in their pride and their ego, they usually can become verbally, physically, emotionally abusive, right? Because they so busy worrying about themselves that they will beat each and every person else down to make up for the area that they lack, and that includes children. So that's something to be mindful of. That you do want to recognize potential if they're walking in it, and pushing towards their goals, but be mindful of prideful men. You don't want a prideful man. Another reason I would say that is because when I speak of the medium well status man, these men aren't prideful. That's a man, you know, that if things get tough and say they lose their job, say something happen, he don't have pride. He will do what he gotta do to take care of his family. If he gotta go work at McDonald's, if he gotta go work overnight, stocking shelves all day, whatever he gotta do, he gonna get it done, because again, this man has the right idea in mind. He see you all as a unit. He cares about his family. He not stuck in his ways, and he not too high up in his own mind where, when things get rough, he just take it out on everybody, right? Because he got this pride of life on his shoulder. But he is operating in humility, and he is operating in unity. So those are some things to be mindful of. Again, let me know your thoughts, your comments in the comment section. I would love for you to engage and just share your thoughts on this topic. Again, I thought it was a very good topic. I've been there and done that. Me personally, I don't want that to be you. So again, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Love ya.